We have the 3-0 Carolina Panthers taking on the 2-1 Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are a 4.5-point favorite going into this game. This game is going to be played 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Now, this game was really close to being my game of the week, but the Cardinals and the Rams is just really interesting because you have two undefeated teams. But Carolina has surprised a lot of people. Me personally, I'm not surprised because if you guys have been around or you've been subscribed to the channel dating back all the way to the off season around May or June, I was telling a lot of people that, hey man, don't sleep on Carolina. I think Carolina is going to surprise a lot of people. And we had Carolina around 8 to 11 wins this year. So far, they have performed really well. They got a good win against the Houston Texans, 24-9. I know a lot of people don't really have a lot of high expectations for Houston, but Houston is going to end up improving as we progress throughout the NFL season. Houston is a really well coached team. That Houston team is a really good win because I promise you by the end of the season, Houston is going to end up getting better. And when you look at Dallas, Dallas got a dominating victory this past Monday night against the Philadelphia Eagles, 41-21. This Dallas Cowboys defense looks like it's coming around, okay? Like, I know they got ran out the building defensively by Tampa Bay, but we can't forget that they did force a lot of turnovers in this game. And what's so good about this Dallas Cowboys defense to me is how good this defense is when it comes to forcing turnovers. And we got to give a lot of props to Dan Quinn for the job he's done so far. Now, I'm not fully sold on the Dallas Cowboys defense. I still need 3 to 4 more weeks before I can go ahead and make my judgment on this defense, but so far I like what Dan Quinn has done with the defense so far. And we got to give a lot of kudos to Trayvon Diggs right now going into his sophomore year in the NFL. He is having a monster season. Do you know that Trayvon Diggs has had an interception in the last 3 games, dating back to week 1 against Tampa Bay, the previous week, and this past week against Philadelphia? He's going to end up having a all-pro season. Like, he has desperately been the #1 cornerback that the Dallas Cowboys have been looking for, that's also good at not only in coverage but can also make plays on the ball. And Byron Jones was really good, but one thing that Byron Jones never really did was force a lot of turnovers. He was always really good when it came to shutting down his wide receiver not being targeted all that often, but he didn't really have a lot of interceptions on a year-to-year basis. You look at Trayvon Diggs, he's making those plays, he's being aggressive, and he's been a really big reason why this Dallas Cowboys defense has played pretty solid over the last 2 weeks. Now for Carolina, their defense has also been really good so far this year, but this is going to be the best offense that this Carolina defense has been matched up against up to this point in the season. You played Houston, their offense isn't really nothing to write home about, especially with Tyrod Taylor being out. The New Orleans Saints offense isn't really all that explosive neither, and we already know what the New York Jets are right now. They haven't really been able to get anything going offensively since the season kicked off. So when you look at Carolina, this is going to be the first major test for this defense. Now, I'm not saying that I don't have confidence in this Carolina Panthers defense, and I'm not saying that this defense is fluke. I'm saying that this is going to be a really big indicator in determining just how great this Carolina Panthers defense is, because before the season, I've had the feeling that this defense could be a top 10 defense this year. I think this is going to be a pretty good indicator. Now, when you look at Dallas, okay, this is a pretty explosive offense. They're averaging 7.5 yards per pass. And when you look at Carolina, they are pretty good at limiting the big plays. Now, although that is because they haven't really faced the offense that's that good at stretching the field, Dallas is definitely going to test this defense in that aspect. Now, I hope that CJ Henderson plays in this game. He was recently traded by the Jacksonville Jaguars to the Carolina Panthers. He's currently listed as questionable, so we don't know if he's going to suit up or play in this game or not. I hope that he plays in this game because I think he will provide another big addition to that defense. And CJ Henderson is no scrub. I'm still puzzled why the Jacksonville Jaguars got rid of him. I understand that he had some injury issues and stuff like that, but when CJ Henderson was on the field, he was pretty productive. He had a pretty solid rookie year. He probably was the second best rookie corner, either the second or third best rookie corner behind Trayvon Diggs and Jalen Johnson. So CJ Henderson is no scrub. CJ Henderson can play. He just can't stay healthy. But if he can stay healthy for Carolina, then you got a damn good addition. So Sam Darnold has been balling so far this year. 888 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception, completing 68% of his passes. He's been really effective. What is he going to do against a Dallas Cowboys coach defense that is really good at forcing turnovers? And another intriguing matchup to watch is going to be DJ Moore versus Trayvon Diggs. Now, Trayvon Diggs, when he's been matched up against the opposing team's number 1 wide receiver, he pretty much has shut him down. Every single number 1 wide receiver he's been matched up against, he's had really good performances against. He was really good against Mike Evans week 1. Last week, he was really good against Devontae Smith. So I want to see DJ Moore going against Trayvon Diggs and who's going to end up winning that matchup. And if you're a fantasy football owner watching this video and you have DJ Moore on your team, that is something to keep tabs on, because every single wide receiver that Trayvon Diggs has matched up against or shadowed, they haven't really had a lot of success. Even Keenan Allen, when Dallas faced them off in week 2, most of his success came when Trayvon Diggs wasn't guarding him. So keep an eye on that if you're a fantasy football owner. I'm not telling you not to play DJ Moore, but Trayvon Diggs has had a lot of success when he's been matched up against the opposing team's number 1 wide receiver. Now, for the Dallas Cowboys, I wonder if they're going to be able to get the pass rush going in this game, because the pass rush still really hasn't been there. They still haven't really been all that good at producing sacks, which is why this defense I'm still a little bit hesitant on, because I still want to see if this pass rush is going to improve. Now, Christian McCaffrey is injured, and we don't really know when he is going to come back. So a rookie running back out of Oklahoma State, Chuba Hubbard, is going to get the start. And Chuba Hubbard got a couple of carries last week. He had 11 attempts for 52 rushing yards. I wonder how effective is he going to be, because you look at how effective Austin Eckler was when the Dallas Cowboys played the LA Chargers. I'm wondering if Chuba Hubbard could have that same kind of performance, because Chuba Hubbard, I think he's really good catching the ball out of the backfield. Now, he's not as good as a wide receiver or as good as a receiving back as Christian McCaffrey is, but he can definitely do some damage. And a lot of people were wondering why the Panthers decided to go ahead and draft Chuba Hubbard. Well, you do have the injury concerns there for Christian McCaffrey. So, you know, now it looks like that ended up being a really good pick. A lot of people criticized it at the time. One thing about Chuba Hubbard, he's really explosive when he gets into the open field. He's really hard to bring down in the open field as well. And he's a little bit of a stronger runner than what a lot of people give him credit for. A lot of people think that Chuba Hubbard is just pure speed. He also is pretty good running the ball in between the tackles. I don't think enough people give him credit. And he can also make some things happen after contact. So I'm really excited about Chuba Hubbard. I picked him up on a couple of my fantasy football leagues. I'm hoping that he ends up having a really good game. But the linebackers for Dallas have improved a lot. They have improved tremendously. And it's not like Dallas didn't have talent at linebacker. They just had talented linebackers who weren't playing up to their skill set. Leighton Vander Esch, you look at Jalen Smith, like they have a lot of linebackers. They're doing a lot of interesting things with rookie Michael Parsons. One week he's playing linebacker, the other week he's playing edge. Like they're utilizing him in a lot of creative ways. You also got Keanu O'Neal. So there's a lot of talented linebackers that the Dallas Cowboys have that can do a multitude of things, and there's even more linebackers who I haven't even mentioned yet. But I think this game is going to come down to which team is going to be able to be effective on third down. I think when you look at the Joe Brady offense, he is really efficient. It's not all about the big plays with him. It's always about just trying to get yards, whether it's a 2-yard gain or a 3-yard gain or a 12-yard gain. It's all about moving the ball and being able to sustain drives. So I wonder if the Dallas Cowboys defense is going to be able to get off the field in those third down situations with Carolina. And for Carolina, okay, are you going to be able to get this Dallas Cowboys offense to a point that you're going to be able to neutralize some of the big plays that they have in the passing game? You also got to account for the two-headed attack that they have with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard seems to be more of their primary pass catching back, so you definitely got to keep an eye out on that. So I'm going to go with Carolina to get the win. I know that they're an underdog in this game. I know a lot of people are choosing Dallas to pull off the win in this game, but I'm going to go with Carolina because the reason why I take Carolina is simply for the fact that this is a team that doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. This is also a team that's very well coached. And I'm really high on this Dallas Cowboys defense, but I don't think they're going to force a turnover in this game. And even if they do, I still feel like Carolina's going to be able to come up on top because I'm really confident in this Carolina Panthers defense that they're going to be able to make the necessary stops needed to win this game. So give me Carolina 27-20 is my final score prediction in this game.